On Trots TV, it's time to welcome back Daryl Jackson, who's going to update us with what's been happening in the mini trots. Thanks for your time, Daryl.
Thanks, Greg. Thanks very much for the invite again.
No problems. Well, let's get straight down to business. The interdom for the mini trotters is not too far away.
Yes, certainly is. The fields have been finalised. Big day here on Sunday, the 1st of March. All the children, it's certainly a day they won't forget for the rest of their lives, I say, being here with all the big guns. But horses from all over New South Wales, 10 affiliated New South Wales clubs have accepted. We're coming from Queensland, Victoria, South Australia, and we've got a driver, Anna Wells, coming over from New Zealand to drive. So it's certainly getting bigger, and it's going to be a great series, this one. It's going to be a very exciting event, and I think in the mini division it's going to be a very good contest between the current Mega Mile champ, Fireblaze, Caitlin McInerney. Other chances probably Chester's Lad, and also Hot and Sassy, the famous McMullen from Brisbane, are coming down. So we all know what they're doing in Queensland, so I'm sure that they'll be on the mark when they get here. So that's the mini division, which will be a very exciting race there, I think.
What about the Shetlands? In
the Shetlands, I think it's going to, unfortunately, could be a Queensland Quinella. For the Blues, could suffer a little bit here, but Danielle's Dash for Cody Peters Cash, Cody Cash Peters rather, should be very hard to beat. Sparkling Star for Angus Garrard, and Roxy on Home, the three Queenslanders for Leonard Kane, that one. But I'm getting reports about a Victorian called Black Pete for Sean O'Sullivan, could be a dark horse. Mm-hmm. And New South Wales will be in there trying. I think Bobby Boucher, Sir Dudley in the old stage of Falcon Crest could cause an upset if they get on their day.
And what about the ponies?
Ponies, the Riverina Flyers, the two big greys, Energizer for Cameron Hart and Wispen Gypsy for Tegan Judd. Should be very hard to beat. But once again, reports out of Victoria. Who's Me Dad? Shannon O'Sullivan, very good reports, and I think there could be an upset on the cards from what they're saying from down in the south.
All right, well, we'll be able to get all those results when we catch up with you again next month, so looking forward to that. Now, what about the New South Wales Championships? They come up in early April?
Yes, that's the 4th and 5th of April. Nominations close on the 27th of February. Kids, don't forget, get those noms in. There's been a great reply so far, only halfway through the month, and a lot come late, but I think it's going to be bigger and better than last year. So get those noms in. And I'm very proud to announce the major sponsors. Harness Race New South Wales have hopped on board as a major sponsor. Garrard's Horse and Hound, and also Tabcorp Parkman Nangle here are sponsoring the three finals, which is a great boost to our cause to put this event on, and we appreciate them. And we have just got a few sponsorships available, ranging from $200 to $20 to little person can help out. They want to jump on and just send a message to NSW Mini Trots at hotmail.com, and we can send them out a little proposal on what's available, and we'll appreciate any help that just finalise a few little other events.
A good way to support the kids who are going to be the future stars. Now, there's also a raffle that's being run during the championships.
Yes, certainly is. We're currently putting together a good raffle. Once Garrard's Horse and Hound have been very kind, they've donated 3 sets of quick hitch harness, 3 sets of hobbles, and 2 $400 vouchers for Garrard's. Greg, it's a super prize. And we've also got a set of mini trot racing silks on offer. Great prize, only $2 a ticket. We'll get them out to all the clubs shortly. They'll be going around all the trotting meetings, and anyone that's out there with the want to sport, we'll certainly appreciate their help. All
right, a little bit later on in the show, we're going to hear from John Dummersey, and he is going to tell us who the Australian representative is, or the New South Wales representative is, for the series that's coming up in New Zealand. But more about that a little bit later on. Around the clubs, run us through what's been happening around New South Wales.
Yeah, around the clubs, once again, it's been very busy through January, February, as we head on towards the championships. The Penrith Nepean Club, as we know, they've been over to the Bankstown Paceway, with Penrith currently undergoing an upgrade there. But they'll be back at Penrith on the 9th of February on a weekly basis, and they certainly have appreciated the chance to go to Bankstown, and they've been very competitive events over there. And recent winners over at Bankstown, we had Led Zeppelin winning for Will Rickson. Just Jack was successful for Kathleen Watt. Bowles Tragedy for Jack Brown, and Perfect Storm for Grace Pinella, the famous Pinella colours, and it was going around there, and they've had a good time over there, but they're back at Penrith from the 19th of February.
All right, so that's the Penrith and the PM. What about Newcastle and Maitland?
Newcastle and Maitland, they're very excited up there next Sunday. The World Drivers' Championship comes to Newcastle. The mini trials will be on display there, and they get an opportunity to actually come and meet all these world drivers and get a photo, and they're very excited about being that next Sunday afternoons, which would be very good at Newcastle to have us part of that carnival up there next Sunday afternoon. We've got a few new members happening up there, largely due to the Harness Racing New South Wales Education and Training Program. We had 5 new members come on last Sunday. Geneva Stowe, Helena Pole, Caroline Newston, Claire Carroll and Lachlan Ward all got their licences last week, so it's 5 new members,
Fantastic.
5 new ponies, and they've been racing regularly up at the Newcastle Paceway, the clubs and gala days up there, but there's been some outstanding efforts, but they've all gone well, but Zach Carroll, Bo Wilson, Abby Morgan, Andrew Burke and Charlie and Max Osgers. I've never seen 2 kids so happy to be out there. They really enjoy it.
Now, what about Dubbo?
Dubbo is also doing a bit of a recruitment out there. They've got 3 new members come along, and Emily Stewart, Robert Foster and also Charlie Foster have come along, and this is mainly due to the efforts of Sarah Marsh, who has a few extra ponies. These kids are trying to get into it. Sarah's kindly donated a couple of her loaned her ponies out to them, got these kids involved into it, and it's a great effort by them out there to try and boost the club out there. So they're doing a good effort out there, and they've all had a couple of meetings happening out there, and these new members are certainly enjoying the mini trots. All
right. What about Leeton? They've got their club up and going as well.
Leeton have. Unfortunately, Leeton had a bit of a shock to their club out there. One of the original co-founders, Graham Burke, unfortunately passed away. So we send the best wishes out to all the family. Narissa Clark, who was a great worker for the club, our publicity officer for a good while out here within the association. And we certainly send the sympathies to the club on a bit of a sad note. But outside that, certainly the kids have been enjoying themselves. They had their Carnival Cups out there. And Shadow, driven by Danica Stevens, was successful in the pony division. The Shetland division was taken out by Nana Smoke for Ryan Pitt. And the Little Midgets were taken out by 7, driven by Nikita Smith. So they're having a good time out there. And young Jed Driscoll had his birthday a couple of weeks ago. So we sent our cheers out to Jed, who's always smiling every time you see him on the track. He's another one just happy to be out there.
Now, there's some breaking news on my list here. Leeton Pony Willie Wagtail and Shetland Little Secret have been named in their respective fields for the Interdom.
Certainly, like all the clubs, they're all excited. As I said, these kids are really happy. Willie Wagtail and Little Secret, they'll certainly be doing their best when they get out there. And I think a couple of these kids are in their last year, so it's great to see them out there and to go out on a big note when they've never been doing anything like this, these Leeton kids, and they'll certainly cherish these for sure.
Oh, that's fantastic. Now, what about Shoalhaven? What's happening there?
Yeah, Shoalhaven, they're pretty proud of a young girl called Maddie Young. She went through their junior ranks and she's gone on to the big ranks as her sister Georgia. There's 2 from the club gone on to, and Maddie had her first drive at Newcastle a couple of weeks ago, and she came in 3rd place. She gave the horse every chance, great little drive, and they're pretty happy with Maddie's first up effort there. They've also had the Dominion heats. They got Caitlin McElhenney, as I said, the defending champion. I think it'd be hard to beat and out there, and also Mason Beresford of Sir Dudley are coming along. They recently went the Claimer show and the Bong Bong races. They went out there for a day, and one of their new members, Morgan Coney, had his first win at the Narrow show also, so he was all smiles after the event. Sure.
All right, Darryl. Well, I'll get you to hang around with me for just a little while, because what we're going to do right now is hear from John Dumersey, and he's going to announce who the New South Wales representative is to go over and compete in New Zealand in the Lizzie of Rosslyn. I've got the CEO of Harness Racing New South Wales, John Dumersey, with me. John, you've got a big announcement to make, a New South Wales mini driver going over to compete in New Zealand.
Yes, certainly, Greg, and with these mini trotter drivers, we're fairly supportive of them here at the Tabcorp Park from an angle where we are tonight, because the club and Harness Racing New South Wales have come to an agreement to really push through and educate, go to schools and what have you for these kids that are coming through. But it's so pleasing because the young girl, her name is Cody Rauschenberger. She is the representative for New South Wales this year in New Zealand.
That's fantastic. So she'll go across to New Zealand. She'll compete in the Lizzie of Rosslyn series. She'll drive in 6 races and former member of the Shoalhaven. She's now down in the ACT.
Yes, and that's great that these kids, as they move from where they live to another place, they've still got that yearning to be part of the mini trotting schooling. It's our future. We need to continue on with these kids, and we had Maxi Trots a couple of years ago it's sort of been suspended, but we'll be back into that as well.
It's very important because these young kids, they are our future stars, aren't they?
They certainly are. Look at young Chris Geary. He did come through the mini trotters. He was in the maxi trotters. He's one of the brightest young drivers we have at the moment. And it's very, very pleasing that Ellen Rickson, she was in the mini trot as well and truly. She drove her first winner at Bankstown only earlier this month it was. And it's the way we have to do it. It's the way we will do it. And as I said, the Principal Club and Harness Racing New South Wales will certainly be sponsoring and supporting the mini trotters going forward.
Good on you, John. Thanks for making the announcement tonight.
No worries, Greg.
So there it is. Cody's going across to New Zealand to represent New South Wales. Well, that was very interesting, the announcement that John Dummesy had for us about who's going over to represent us, New South Wales later in the year. But I thought we might catch up with one of the New South Wales drivers who's been doing some great things, Darryl, and also won a very prestigious award recently on Australia Day, Molly Turton.
She certainly did. It was certainly a bit of a shock, that a mini trot driver could reach such a height, so it just shows what level mini trots has reached, and Molly's experience in New Zealand is quite good to hear. Yeah.
Well, Molly, you are joining us on the show. We thank you for your time. Congratulations on being named the Juni Australia Day Junior Sportsperson for the year.
Thank you.
It must mean a lot to you.
Yeah, it does. It means a lot.
So tell us how much you're involved in the mini trotting.
I've been involved in mini training for 5 years, and I attend nearly every race meeting we have around in our club, and I try to enter everything I can.
I believe you've broken in 3 ponies?
Yeah, I've broken in 3 ponies, 2 of my own and 1 for someone else.
Just going back to your sports award, Molly, how many people did you beat for that? Was it what other sports were involved in it that you beat for the prize?
There was one girl who done a lot in swimming, and there was a girl who played a lot of cricket, and I think she may have represented the New South Wales team.
Did it come as a big shock when your name was read out?
Yeah, I was so shocked. I couldn't believe it. I was like, yeah, breath taken away.
And your parents must have been very proud?
Yeah, they were. I think Mum might have even cried.
Now, you were also you went across to New Zealand last year to compete, and you actually won a race over there.
Yeah, that was just an amazing feeling. I couldn't believe I'd won a race on the Alexandra Park track. It may not have been a big horse race, but the feeling was still there.
And tell us a little bit about that experience when you went across to New Zealand. Everyone was really nice and made you feel welcome?
Yeah, I met some great people over there. I made a heap of friends. It was a whole new experience, racing the opposite way. The starting line was different, and the Alexandra Park setup was just amazing. You had to take an elevator to get to the commentator's box, but once you were up there, it was amazing.
And how did it change your outlook on harness racing? Has it made you keen to get into the big ones at all, Molly, having that experience?
Yeah, I'm so keen to work the big horses and get into driving or training them. I help Bruce Hartley at his stables on race day and just help him gear up and clean out the stalls.
I suppose it's a silly question, but what's your favourite horse in the Hartley stable?
Well, I like Bushabar, and then my second one would have to be Froof.
It must be a great experience for a young person of your age to be working with a horse and being able to help around the stables when there's a horse like Frith, a Frith in the barn. That's fantastic.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing watching her go around, and yeah.
Well, it's great that we can catch up with the different people, Darryl, throughout these episodes that we're going to be speaking with the young driver.
Yeah, it certainly is, Greg. We'll look at on a regular basis, perhaps to bring someone on board. So I'd like to thank Molly for her time, and certainly great to hear her experience.
Thank you.
So there she was, Molly Turton, and she looks like she's got a pretty big future in front of her.
She has. She's in a good stable down there, and she certainly does enjoy the harness racing. As her mum said, she come back a different person, different outlook on harness racing, and the experience was great. And let's hope that the this year's person enjoys it just as much.
Yeah, for sure, and certain. It's been a big show. We've caught up with all the news. John had that big announcement. We've heard from Molly. Daryl, thanks very much for making your way to the Trots TV studio again, and we'll do it again next month.
Thanks, Greg. Thanks very much for your time again.
There he is, Daryl Jackson, updating us what's happening in Mini Trots.